based on the findings of a private investigator involved in the Tupac murder case, Las Vegas media is now reporting that Reggie Wright Jr. Allegedly orchestrated the shooting of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight on September 7th, 1996.
Trial day approaches, his attorneys are citing several new developments have shown up in the case, thus calling for the delay. Some of those developments include new evidence from a private investigator who claims that new witness testimony can confirm Davis was not in Las Vegas at the time of the shooting, as well as witness information saying Shakur was stable before his passing. And lastly, Davis's attorneys claim new information in the case alleges another party, Reggie Wright Jr. and his security, may have orchestrated the shooting.
Amazingly, there are still witnesses who can lay out the crime. I mean, for example, at the grand jury, they had Suge Knight's bodyguard who was in Las Vegas at the time.
What he claimed to happen, the Nextel radios wasn't even able to do at the particular time.
While I was working at 662, I heard something over the Nextels that we all carry for security. And what I heard was, got him.
But ironically and interestingly enough, when Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. testified for the grand jury, he said that the Nextel radios had the walkie-talkie feature as well as a phone radio, when he's saying that Frank Alexander didn't contact him. Look. Boom. Got him again. This guy is a compulsive liar. He cannot be trusted. His credibility is zero. He lied. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Life is like some cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game. Please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 48 hours, the news has broke in regards to Dwayne Keefe D. Davis actually filing a motion to delay his trial. What his lawyers have said basically is that they've come across new information, new witnesses that could basically testify that Keefe D wasn't in Las Vegas. Like I said, there's a lot of legal maneuvering, involved in different cases and things that are attempted sometimes to, delay the trial. Some things are substantive. Some things are really what they say they are. And like I said, I would take Keefe D and his lawyer and them trying to do this at what they're trying to do. And like I said, but this is, the other side of it is that the judge in the case, and this is what gives me a little bit more, or should I say, gives the motion a little bit of credibility, if you will, based on the fact that the motion that was filed in the situation in the case, right? There was another motion that was filed also. And this motion right here, it says, in a separate court filing, the judge granted Davis 100 hours of private investigative work from an outside company. A 1998 lawsuit requires that courts to pay for services of an indigent defendant who has retained counsel was proper as long as the defendant demonstrates his or her indigence and a reasonable need for the services in question, this document said. So with that right there, like I said, they granted Keefe D a motion to hire an outside private investigator. And basically, as you've seen with the clip, the Las Vegas media, as well as the motion that they filed, contains Reggie Wright Jr.'s name in the motion as someone who allegedly orchestrated or could have orchestrated the shooting of Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. And like I said, what I also like to bring to you is this. Most people have, they've come up with their own little speculation or whatever. Like I said, what I'm talking about when you come see me over here on Straight Game TV, all I'm talking about is the facts. I'm not talking about how I feel. I don't know what they have in regards to Reggie Wright Jr. Like I said, this is what was in the actual motion in the court filing. But I do know this. Keefe D and his attorney did not involve Reggie Wright Jr. in this case. Reggie Wright Jr. involved himself. And it's a fact that recently on the Art of Dialogue, Suge Knight spoke on, and he had asked a question based on Reggie Wright Jr. going out and making all of these statements over the years involving knowing Suge Knight's business and so on and so forth. Suge Knight asked recently, when the shooting went down, he was asking basically, where was Reggie? Basically, where were you when the situation went down? But yet Reggie has so much to say, and this is over on the Art of Dialogue. If you want to go check out the latest series that he has running over there. But more importantly, like I said, the factual nature of Reggie involving himself. Like I said, when the grand jury was convened involving the Keefe D situation, Reggie went and actually testified in front of the grand jury. And like Suge had said, but Reggie wasn't even there. So what he could testify to, it was baffling, but he chose to involve himself in the situation involving that. And like I said, I have that here for you right now. Here it is right here. And so if you want to understand fully as to what went on, this right here is testimony from Reggie Wright Jr. in the grand jury situation. And it says nothing. They were asking the question, nothing. That's the only problem I had with my security, Mr. Alexander, that he didn't notify me when it transpired, right? Frank Alexander did not have a radio. It is well noted that Frank Alexander did not have a walkie-talkie at that particular time. So why Reggie would make that statement, I don't know. But listen, but he said his walkie-talkie because we had Nextels back then where they could operate like walkie-talkie radios. They had a dual. It could be a phone or it could be like a walkie-talkie. He didn't notify me, but that was his first day back from being off for like a month. And he said his walkie-talkie, right? Listen. Now, that's that's the part that's most important, understanding from that perspective, right? And the reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, Reggie shifted the blame to Frank Alexander, right? But Frank was the one that was with Tupac. You can go to the videos. You can see Frank standing next to Tupac, walking next to Tupac, doing that whole time in the MGM Grand. He was tailing Tupac. The fact of the matter is that Reggie pulled Michael Moore off of Tupac, and Suge said that he had put two of the best guys on Tupac that night. And in fact, Reggie pulled them off of him. That's what Suge said out of his mouth. I did videos on that also, But more importantly, like I said, this situation involving a private investigator and Reggie volunteering to go and testify in front of the grand jury, right, involving walkie-talkies, in which for the past 25 years, Reggie had said that the Nextel radio didn't have a walkie-talkie feature, that it couldn't do that at that time. So now, once again, which one is it? So this brings into the question what the private investigator actually found that would warrant them to say, hey, you know what? We have evidence to believe that Reggie Wright Jr. orchestrated this assassination attempt, hit, or whatever you want to call it, on Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. Once again, after so many years of saying that the Nextel radios couldn't do that. They didn't have a walkie-talkie feature. You understand what I'm saying? And so, once again, we see what's went on throughout the years, and also Reggie Wright Jr. denying the fact that Tupac fired him on on August 27th, 1996, approximately 11 or 12 days before Tupac was shot, right? As his personal security. Most people say, well, how could the security be involved? Reggie Wright Jr. was initially hired as death row security. And on the night that they were in Las Vegas, Reggie Wright Jr. was still the head of death row security. Suge said he sensed something that night and called Reggie and told Reggie to send 5 more security guards to guard Pac. And Reggie didn't send anybody. Once again, this is what Suge Knight is saying. Not what I'm saying, not what I feel, not what I think. These are the facts that Suge Knight has said. And so with that being understood, I can see why the private investigator, whatever they found, and Keefe D's attorney would put that in the motion in regards to that situation, because it is plausible. Once again, like I said, the lies that have been told, the downright degradation and disrespect that has been shown for Frank Alexander and Michael Moore after their deaths. And like I said, Michael Moore had no dog in the fight when he basically did the documentary, and he was talking about the things that he was talking about, how they were trying to really get him off of Tupac that night. They kept calling the hotel, talking about, yeah, you better show up at Club 662, because once again, the security, from my understanding, on that night involving Tupac Shakur was sabotaged. There's a little known fact also, when Frank Alexander actually did an interview on Bombs First, and I posted that interview under fair use, in which Frank Alexander said that he had called Tupac when the facts came through that Yasmin Fuller put out, proving that Reggie Wright Jr. had been fired. He had been denying it all these years until that facts came out that was signed by Tupac. And so when Frank Alexander was doing the interview, Frank said somebody from the office called him and told him that he was fired. He was no longer working with Tupac. And Frank said he called Tupac, and Tupac told him, he was like, nah, nigga, you going with me. Tupac was going to take Frank with him as his private security, but he was actually firing Reggie's company as his private security, because they would moonlight as Tupac's private security. And so, as to the reason why Frank was still on Tupac that night in Vegas, there you have the answer. Because Tupac wanted Frank on him. He also wanted Michael Moore, but Reggie knew at the time that he couldn't control Frank from that perspective and what Tupac wanted, based on Tupac being with Suge. You understand what I'm saying? So if Tupac was with Suge and he said, yeah, I want Frank on me, Suge, you think Suge gonna say, nah, Pac, you can't have Frank on you? That's why that happened. And Suge could overrule what Reggie was trying to do if he knew, but Suge didn't know that Reggie was pulling Michael Moore or trying to pull a security off of Tupac that night. Suge didn't know anything about that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why that happened. But more importantly, like I said, when it came out later and what Frank Alexander expressed in that interview, once again, the interview that they don't really want anybody to see, that's the reason why they were trying to pull my videos down off of YouTube. They issued a few copyright strikes, or tried to get a few copyright strikes against me. Once again, the videos that I was making was used under fair use. And so once again, it comes now full circle that once again, as for the people who did not know, this is Reggie Wright Jr.'s testimony at the grand jury involving the Keefe D situation before Keefe D was arrested. Now, nobody knew this until they released the grand jury transcript. And here, Reggie Wright Jr. is finally coming out and saying that the walkie-talkie actually had the cell phone actually had a walkie-talkie feature, which Reggie had been denying for the last 25 years when Michael Moore said that he had heard over the radio that somebody said got him after Tupac was shot, right? And he heard something else. Reggie lied about that for the last 20 some odd years and denied that the phone had a walkie-talkie feature where you could actually hear that. And in the grand jury, as you see right here in the testimony he gave, he said finally, after 20 some odd years, that yeah, it did have a walkie-talkie feature. Once again, why would one lie about something like that and then come to confess it during the trial during the grand jury testimony of Keefe D? You know, like I said, once again, so I don't know what the actual information that the private investigator has involving that. I don't claim to know that. All I know is what they recently released and what the Las Vegas media and the Associated Press, all of these other media outlets are reporting right now, like I said, in regards to this situation. And so when we think about, here, look, check this out. Even with this, right? 100 hours, man. 100 hours. They're basically saying in 100 hours, this is the information that they gathered involving this situation. And so when we look at the key evidence that they might have come up, this is serious. This is serious right here. This is not a game. So, and you heard, like I said, they're mentioning Reggie Wright Jr. by name. And this has now caught traction around the world based on the fact that Reggie Wright Jr. wanted to be so involved with the case. He was saying that other people, Suge Knight, he claimed that Suge Knight was trying to be involved with the case. You know what I mean? Suge Knight was in the car. This is ego. This is ego talking. When people talk like that, they talking with their ego, talking about Suge Knight was trying to be involved. He's trying to dirty up the case and make the case muddy and so on and so forth. No, Suge Knight was actually in the car. The fact of the matter is, what Suge Knight recently said was basically, Reggie, where were you when the situation went down? You understand what I'm saying? And so from that perspective, here we are. This is why we've ended up here. And yeah. So for the people who didn't know, this is what really happened. This is how all of this had come to be what it is. You have someone who basically pulled the security off of, I would like to say, sabotaged the security of Tupac Shakur based on the fact that he was fired as Tupac's personal security. There's a couple of other videos, like I say, I'll tag them at the end of this that you can watch and you'll understand a little bit more about what I'm talking about and the things that Reggie said about Tupac and the accusations that he had made in regards to that and the denials that he had made in regards to the situation with him being fired. Where he basically said about Tupac, fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? And all of those other things, being mad or whatever it was that he had felt about that. These are facts. It's not me saying anything, making up something. Like I said, I try to deal with the information that is before us. And like I said, there's so many lies that have been told by the guy who was supposed to be protecting Suge Knight and Tupac on that night. That, like I said, I'm not surprised that this information or that they mentioned Reggie Wright Jr. in the motion, as well as whatever the investigator found out. I'm not surprised, like I said, once again, as you've seen with the testimony that he gave in the grand jury, Reggie Wright Jr. wanted to be involved with this case. And it seems like, it appears that he wanted Keefe D, other than the things that Keefe D had mentioned in his book on various interviews involving that. And so, like I said, I seen some comments said that, DELRAY likes to switch sides. No, it's not switching sides. It's giving you the information. You can choose what side you want to be on. I'm not on any side. I'm just giving the information from what I understand and what I know and what I've done the research on to try to make some sense of this myself. And so if you're looking for somebody to be on a certain side, I think that might be you who might be wanting to take sides. I don't have a side, right? I'm not charged with doing nothing to nobody. And like I said, I didn't testify in the grand jury involving anybody. I didn't lie about hearing something over the radio about Tupac being shot. I wasn't involved with none of that. Like I said, we're talking about this because this is something that happened in the public that is made available for the public to discuss, right? And I'm bringing you the information accordingly. And so, like I said, once again, a lot of people get sidetracked with their own cognitive dissonance, if you will, and what they want to believe and the facts that trump what they believe in using their cognitive dissonance or wanting to mesh in that or dwell on that and what they believe versus the facts that contradict what they believe, if you will. So like I said, yeah, these are the facts, man. Like I said, and this story is picked up like a whirlwind. You know what I mean? All of the news organizations, MSN, the Associated Press, all of the news organizations, big news organizations are reporting on this. So like I said, we're going to see what actually they have. Like I said, I understand the attempt to try to delay the trial. Will the judge actually allow that to happen? I don't know. But if she does, then it speaks volumes as to what they might have in regards to some other evidence or witnesses or whatever they're saying they have involving the murder of Tupac Shakur. So yeah, we're gonna keep y'all posted on this. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.